blemishing this masterpiece. How am I to know? How am I to know? As a boy, I watched the world through broken eyes, given to me by a man, his wife, and all they had disguised. Uncertainty now keeps me asking how I lead the most. As they became more, will I teach the examples of their ghosts? Free me from this body. I just wanna be on the outside, looking in. I fuss and fight my curiosity with welcome arms and frightened fingers twitched anxiety. Here it comes, a clean slate picture, perfect, no mistakes. How am I to keep from blemishing this masterpiece? How am I to know? How am I to know? As a boy, I watched the world through broken eyes, given to me by a man, his wife, and all they had disguised. Uncertainty now keeps me asking how I lead the most. As they became more, will I teach the examples of their ghosts? Free me from this body. I just wanna be on the outside, looking in. Free me from this body. I just wanna be on the outside, looking in. Free me. Free me. I fuss and fight my curiosity with welcome arms and frightened fingers twitched anxiety. Here it comes, a clean slate picture, perfect, no mistakes. How am I to keep from blemishing this masterpiece? How am I to know? How am I to know? As a boy, I watched the world through broken eyes, given to me by teach the examples of their goals. Free he made from this body. I just wanna be on the outside looking in. Free he made from this body. I just wanna be on the outside looking in. Free he made. Free he made.
I was playing that earlier.
I fuss and fight my curiosity with welcome arms and frightened fingers twitched anxiety. Here it comes, a clean slate picture, perfect, no mistakes. How am I to keep from blemishing this masterpiece? How am I to know? How am I to know? As a boy, I watched the world through broken eyes, given to me by a man, his wife, and all they had disguised. Uncertainty now keeps me asking how I lead the most. As they became more, will I teach the examples of their goals? Free he made from this body. I just wanna be on the outside looking in. Free he made from this body. I just wanna be on the outside looking in. Free he made. Free he made. I fuss and fight my curiosity with welcome arms and frightened fingers twitched anxiety. Here it comes, a clean slate picture, perfect, no mistakes. How am I to keep from blemishing became, or will I teach the examples of their goals? Free me from this body. I just wanna be on the outside, looking in. Free me from this body. I just wanna be on the outside, looking in. Free me. Free me. I fuss and fight my curiosity with welcome arms and frightened fingers twitched anxiety. Here it comes, a clean slate picture, perfect, no mistakes. How am I to keep from blemishing this masterpiece? How am I to know? How am I to know? As a boy, I watched the world through broken eyes, given to me by man, his wife, and all they had disguised. Uncertainty now keeps me asking how I lead the most. As they became, or will I teach the examples of their goals? Free me from this body. I just wanna be on the outside, looking in. Free me from this body. I just wanna be on the outside, looking in. Free me. Free me.
Okay, so. Okay, sword people.
Sword people.
Just get up to. Here's your piece. No, you're good, you're good. Okay. So, and she can get yours. You're at the end. That's good. Okay, you're setting the tone. So, you first, Liz back here. Ashley's up here, down your dad. Yeah, single file.
Kate tells me that we're when you're how is this to be?
Okay, guys, thank you for coming. We're gonna start my brother's memorial with a presenting of the swords from our clan. Go.
We have lost our brother. He'll arrive at God's and light. He shall not grow old nor fell sick. He'll fight his battles in no defeat till the end.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Do I need this? We're live streaming. We have friends and family kind of everywhere. So those of you who are able to sign in, it's great. So my brother died a month ago. To the day. I did not plan that. And I tried for 3 weeks to write a eulogy. I've tried to come up with something that I can say, and I have no words. Like, I am in complete devastation over this. I don't feel like it's my right. I shouldn't perform a eulogy for someone who shouldn't be gone. So all of the thoughts in my head are like dust particles, you can imagine. They're like floating there, and they're stagnant, and there's no rhyme or reason. So, bear with me. I do have a childlike outline. So Patrick came into our lives on a very crisp morning in 1987, and he came fast. I remember my sister and I were kind of hauled into our mother's, her coworker drove us, and it was very fast. It was cold, and we were scared, hiding under this blanket, and then we were like rushed into this hospital, and I know it's the Westlake Hospital now, but I didn't know what it was. And we sat there, and it was, we were surrounded by all of this bright light. And if you know, the three of us, none of us really liked sunlight, so it was terrible to sit there. Felt very vulnerable, and we were all scared. And these clinical sounds, and we were thinking, well, I was thinking, I don't know how long we're gonna be here. And then all of a sudden, our brother was born, and the only thing I knew about him at the time was that he peed on the doctor who delivered him. And his opinion of authority never changed. So, but it was interesting, because my sister and I, we weren't really girly girls, we weren't really tomboys, and then we had this little brother, and he just wanted to tag along and do what we were doing, and my sister taught him how to jump on my bed, and I hated that. I told him to stop plummeting, and he wasn't typical. He wasn't a typical kid who watched Sesame Street. He watched Ghostbusters when he was 1 every single day. I could still recite most of it, but it was interesting that he didn't want to do Ghostbusters. All right, okay. I taught him how to play chess. We played until he beat me, and then I stopped playing with him. And when he was 12, I asked him to walk me down the aisle at my wedding. And he was perfect. This young kid, he had blue hair, but he was so excited. And I remember thinking he was the only person that I would want to walk me down the aisle, even at 12. I introduced him to Family Opera. I kidnapped him one weekend and made him go through a Godfather marathon. And he went along with all of it. He did. Because he wanted to belong. I think the three of us, my sister, my brother, and I, we never really felt like we belonged anywhere except with each other. And now that 3 is down to 2. And that is very difficult for me to try to rationalize. Because we shared so much. His mind was complex and animated. If anybody remembers him telling you a story, it was, he acted it out. He was just so animated. And I loved that, until he knocked something over or broke something and because he flailed around, but that's just how he was. And he was fiercely loyal to his inner circle, to the people that he cared about. And he tried so hard to make a family with people. And a lot of that is displayed in his writing. He started writing at a really young age. And as a matter of fact, I was the subject of one of his poems for school. And I'm going to read you my favorite stanza. He wrote this January 26, 2003. And the poem is called What is a Big Sister? And this is my absolute favorite stanza. An older sister will always love you, and you feel so proud she's your sister. Nothing else matters when she's around. She's the opposite of a blister. It's okay to laugh. It's why it's my favorite. But he really got into it. He really got into writing, and he got into these ideas for these worlds, and I was one of his sounding boards, and he would come up to me and say, hey, I've got this idea for, this character or this story. We talk it through, and, one little seedling of a story, his eyes would light up at any time I would say, well, what if you do this? Or what if you have this? And, one story turned into a 10-book saga. Every single time. And the inception of Dragon Youth, which was his baby, started off when he was at work with me one night, and he was walking back and forth, and we were talking about it, and then I saw it, and he created this world. He had characters and what magical things, and all of these things that I know nothing about, but I was so proud of him for creating something so complex, and he kept it up. He used it as his world for his role-playing game that's still campaigning. They're still in that world. And he built on it, and he wanted to get it published. And he had so many ideas. He had 3 major projects that were so good. And it guts me that he's never going to be able to see his work published. So it's I just can't understand why I have to stand here and talk about someone who's gone. I'm never going to see him again. When he moved here, I brought him in. I wanted to give him a safe place, a comforting place, a place where he could just be. And I hope I gave him that. But my world now is frozen. I feel suspended. I don't even know how to move forward. I feel like I'm in this fog, and I don't know how to see my way through. And I'm standing still, and he's running free. And I hope he's happy, and I hope he's safe, and I hope he finally knows how much we all loved him. So this is a little unconventional. Coming up? No?
I can go. Yeah.
We just have a couple of people and then, you know, my son and his procrastinating laptop, right?
Hey.
Just saying. So Angelina is part of his party in the current game that they're running. Andrew's girlfriend, sweetest person ever, so she's gonna come up now.
So, I wrote down basically what I want to say. I'm just gonna read it out. When I first met Pat just 4 years ago, I was introduced to him as my boyfriend's mother. But as time went on, I knew him as one of my closest friends and someone that I knew that I had so much love for his friends and family. I didn't know that from that point on, we would be hanging out almost every other day. The first time that I met him was when Andrew and I were meeting on a bench outside of Oxford High School. And Pat pulled up in his old car. Andrew opened the door and said, "Angelina, this is my Uncle Pat," and Pat was Angelina. Pat then went on to say a phrase with the exact same words and the exact same tone, with the same hand gesture that he would always say to me for the rest of the time we met. Yo! Whenever he could do that, it would make me smile. It was one of the many factors that he had that I always wanted. Andrew and I were with Pat the night before he passed away. We watched NXT and played Bloodlines all night, which is a board game that he and Andrew created about the family. I had just gotten off from work, and usually when you get off of work, you're tired and your social battery is completely drained, and you just want to be home alone. But whenever we would go somewhere or do something and Pat was there, I would always have a sense of tranquility and a sense of belonging. So immediately upon entering the room, I remember feeling happy and excited to be there with him. We watched NXT and were amazed at how Andrew would always know who was going to win the match and what was going to happen next. Pat would say, "I swear to God, Andre, you should bet on who's going to win. You would make so much money." We played for 2 hours, or we played 2 games of Bloodlines, and after hours of each of us getting sent back to the beginning of the board and forgetting the rules of our cards, Pat won both games. Pat said, "What? I never won this game." After that, we packed everything up and walked out to Andrew's car. Pat took his wooden staff out with him and was doing tricks along the way over. We talked about movies while Andrew and I got into the car and drove off. We waved bye to Pat. And we waved back while he was pretending to hit the front of Andrew's car with his staff. That was the last time that I saw him. It's so interesting to me when someone passes away, because after the fact you constantly it's so interesting to me when someone passes away, because after the fact you constantly tell yourself that you should have done this differently, you should have done this, and so on. But this is the first time when that wasn't the first thing that popped into my head. And I think that's because no one, and I mean absolutely no one, expected this to happen. There's one thing that I'll never forget from that night, and that was a conversation I had with Pat. We were planning to go with Andrew and Daniel to Solving. Solving had so much meaning with Pat. He had told us that he had been to Solving when he was a child, but it wasn't a good memory. We were planning on going there in February. I told Pat that we had to eat Danish pancakes and go to the windmill and take a picture of all of us in it. I asked Pat if he remembered anything about the places in Solving, and he said I remember this crystal gem shop that had this beautiful prism of citrine that had a gorgeous shine on it. I couldn't get it then, but if we see it when we go there, I'm absolutely buying it. We started looking at shops and restaurants and planning what we were going to do, or when we'd leave and come back. Pat said I could finally have a positive memory of Salt Lake. And we're still planning on going to give him a positive memory by going to Salt Lake still. And yes, we're absolutely getting that citrine prism that Pat wanted, and any other thing that we think that he would have wanted. Why? Because he deserves it. Looking back when someone passes away, you always feel like you could have done more for someone. But since Pat passed away, I've been feeling happy for the things we did do with him and for him in those 4 years. For his last birthday, I surprised him with tickets to Universal Studios, because he hasn't gone there since they added the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and he really wanted to go. I'll never forget how happy he was when I told him the news. Last Christmas, I made him a huge perler bead of Eddie Guerrero, a wrestler that he looked up to and admired a lot. When he unwrapped it, I can remember that he was speechless and was so excited to hang it up in his room. Since Pat has passed away, I feel like I've seen him and heard him through a lot of things. I see you when I see FedEx trucks driving by me. I see you when I see the slippers and shoes that I got you for my work that you love. I see you smiling when I see a Monopoly board because you just bought out of all of the boardwalk in basically one day. I see you do your evil grin when I ask you what rolling 50-20 means. And I see you getting your white chocolate ice water drink whenever I try to buy a coffee bean. And I see you whenever I see the sunscreen that I would get for you when you were working, so you wouldn't get sunburned so much. I hear you cackling. I hear you cackling when Daniel decides to burn down a building in Dungeons & Dragons. And we literally just spent 10 minutes arguing and finally agreeing on going through the front door. I hear you singing whenever I listen to Coheed and Cambria and Childish Gambino. I hear you say, "Oh my God," now, whenever Andrew breaks something. There's two things that I know for sure. Is that I know you're enjoying ultimate freedom because you always wanted it. And I know that you're with Belgrade. Now, the fact that you're no longer physically here with us feels both real and unreal at the same time. I really go from telling myself, wow, that actually just happened, and fully accepting it, to feeling like you're going to come back from work at any moment now and watch WWE with us and play board games. The one thing that I still wish that I could have done was tell you how much you meant to me, how much I cared about you, and I really wish I could have given you a hug. In the future, Pat, Andrew, and I were planning on moving out together. I talked about how our house was going to be like. So in the future, when Andrew and I move out together, we'll always have a spot dedicated to you in our house. Another thing we would always talk about was how Pat was going to meet meet and play with their kids when Andrew and I had them. Well, now Andrew and I have talked about it, and we're planning on naming one of our kids after you, Pat. We'll never forget about you, and we will have your name and memories live on. We love you, Pat.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Come on up. I just finished this portion 2 minutes ago.
Could you understand me? Okay. Thank you.
You all gonna have to bear with me for a second. Wait a second. Just a momentary second. I got it. So one thing we're getting there. Are you my phone?
Don't break anything.
I got it. See that? Get something ready real quick. Just give me two seconds. Hello. Test 1, 2. Huh? No. Volume is good. Oh, the video's not there. This is just audio.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I start. Ataraxia, the freedom from insanity. Freedom from mental disturbance, tranquility. A lucid state where one's own will to be at peace is the driving force. A concept that seems so simple, why wouldn't we want to be free from the metaphorical chains weighing down our reality? If it's so simple, wouldn't we all be happy? If a loved one suffered through years of inconsistent emotions and endless trauma that they finally can rest easy, wouldn't we want that? I peer past the precipice, personifying a memory that no one else shares. Daring to question myself because I find I'm caring too much about how it could be. I don't think we, as a species, define grief correctly. That's because there is no definition. Would you dare to try to poke and prod at the obvious? Given the tools to grow, why do we show such restraint? Our new reality we find to be not so quaint, blatantly hiding in the past we feel safe. Sad. Happy. Mad. Glad to see we all at least share something. Nihilistic tendencies render me ashamed. Realistic boundaries show me who's to blame. Optimistic mindsets grovel in submission. Pessimistic virtues are my new ambition. Father Time and Mother Earth birth strange creatures, ones like life, loss, curiosity, lust, terror, and trust. These concepts struggle to keep us wrapped in a perfect little bow. Who's to know where to go when our path of getting better is already lined up for us? Don't fuss, don't rush. We'll see each other when we both get there. If there even is something there. To care for us so much that when it's time to go, we go easy. That sounds great. Faintly wishing that were the case. But if I was a creator, I'd express concern, sorrow. I'd be the one asking for forgiveness, because I would know I'd be the one making the decision. Without warning or consulting, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Maybe ours can. started your life here, not in this building, not in this hour. Our fox was pulled from this land, forced into a frozen fortress of foul feelings.
Here, sleep at the bottom of hell. Your time has come to pick the road. You walk in this tale, turned in as a coward. You've learned through sickness and health is only one. You're going by your time. You're to the worst of me with a hope they'd understand. No, they know you're just a boy, so grow up and be a man. Little baby, all kicking you, screaming, whine. Victims pay the price eventually, because they see your
Biding his time, ticking down the clock, while his flock lay waiting across the continent, constantly being thrown into disassociation, placation was the only way to survive. Creating expansive worlds and massive endeavors, rendering the little fox distracted while he acted out his wants, needs, wishes, and greeds. Pleading to return home, he doesn't want to be alone. The timing is a little bit off, it's okay.
United States, I know, watch the waters blow away. So don't let the world bring you down. Not everyone here is that fucked up and cold. Remember why you came and while you're alive, experience the war before.
Finally able to escape, free from the dragging mundane, maybe he'll finally be safe. Erasing what's happened to him, trying to start anew. Still across the way from home, this could be a new form of living. What was supposed to be a new, fun beginning turned boring, and what he planned had become undone. Knowing that this place won't hold him forever, the little fox tried so many new things to distract himself from his own mind. A grating, degrading voice tells him there's only one home for him.
You want to move to California? She must have fucking lost her mind. She wants to move to California. It's all they could do every time.
Finding a way for our fox to come home, it took some time, crossing the line of old and new. He grew away, now he must grow to stay. Safe to say, with distant memories of an old town, he must find a way to settle down. Again, my time. Welcome home, furry little fox. Stretch your legs and cozy up. Never enough time to enjoy the good while it lasts. When it's over, we won't let it slip from our grasp. Before you know it, you'll be drifting off into tranquility. Hopefully.
Colors forced from the east sky resting. Oh, the nostalgia we retract. And now is ours, but then we can't get back. Guns crashing down. Don't make a move, don't let it go south. Just watch it fall, watch it come down. Feel it as it goes, does it feel good to let it go?
Years pass as your past dies, unknowingly showing you a new point of view. Never fearing death, taking it as a challenge is how you used to feel. But now, frightened, our fox shakes. Its old world quakes and breaks in two. Now fearing death, wishing it would stay away, he has never felt so real.
My fears are coming true. Nothing I can do but stand here waiting for. While death comes knocking at my door. So won't can't let go. Won't let go of me.
And this is where I leave you. Falling into obscurity while purity falls behind. There's more to say, there always will be. There's more to feel, more to conceal. Appeal yourself and feel at peace. At least we all still have what matters most. I could say that I feel broken. I could say that things are better left unspoken. But at the end of the day, there's only one thing left to say. So indulge me for about 4 minutes more as I try to get this right. Farewell, my furry little fox.
I can believe that you're gonna leave me alone. I can believe that we'll never see your face. I can believe that you're at the gates of heaven. I can believe that we'll never love me
So as you can see, this is not rehearsed. It wasn't planned. It's very raw. We're all trying to scramble to make sense of it. We are going to say goodbye with a toast. So, can I have Pat's Inner Circle come up, please?
I spend it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you. Oh, all the comrades that e'er I had are sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts that e'er I had would wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and I'll softly call, good night and joy be with you.
So thank you all for coming. There are little refreshments in the back. About an inch square of sandwich. And some drinks and some veggie platters, something, I don't know what they set up. But you're welcome to grab something on your way out. And that's that, right?
Back.
All right, thank you guys.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were at the end. You made people cry.
I did? I literally didn't look up. I was just
Welcome rooms and frightened fingers twitched anxiety. Here it comes, a clean slate picture
I know I do it. I was like, what?
How am I to keep from blemishing this masterpiece? How am I to know?
I know.
How am I to know? As a boy, I watched the world through broken eyes, given to me free.